guys, welcome to Anita Crochets. My name is Anita. Today I'm going to be sharing with you the logic behind making a sweater and also the mistakes we make while crocheting sweaters that we don't realize. And this tutorial is going to be able to help someone who is looking forward to making a sleeveless sweater, because I'm going to be sharing the logic of making a sweater and the maths and everything that you need to know about making a sweater. Please don't mind about my nails. I am really so busy that I'm really not finding time for manicure and pedicure, so don't mind about my nails. Just get to understand what I'm trying to explain here. So I'm going to be working with Robin 100% acrylic. It's 100 grams, and I'll be working with a 6mm hook, a pair of scissors, and then a darning needle. Okay, so I'm going to put all these aside and then just explain to you what exactly I'm going to be making and why. First of all, I have my drawing book, and I'm just going to make an ordinary sweater, like a really simple sweater, but then I want you guys to understand what it is that you need to know about crocheting sweaters that you don't know and you don't consider. First of all, our bodies are not like straight at the shoulders like this. This is not how we are built, okay? We are not built like this. We have some sort of like slant, okay? Like that. That's how our shoulders are built. They have a slanting edge like that. So when making a sweater, more so if you're making a sleeveless sweater and you make it straight like this, and you don't have this slant, you'll find that when you put it on, it has this gap of the sweater being straight and then your body having this slant, that it does not actually fall onto your shoulders. Instead, it makes this kind of sharp end, yet you want it to be on the shoulders and look like a sleeveless sweater should, okay? So that's where we all make mistakes when making crochet sweaters. Sometimes you find that the mistake may not show, more so if the sweater ends up with sleeves, but when you leave it sleeveless, you are always going to have that gap there. So all that is going to be taught in this tutorial. So this is what I am trying to make. I am assuming these are my hands. My sweater is going to have some like sort of fitting right here, okay? Okay, and my hands will actually come out fitting at the end. That's what I look forward for. And then I'll have this sort of opening here, for which I'll make a finishing for like that, okay? So guys, I am looking forward to having about 13 inches from here up to here. And for this slant, I want to have a difference of 2 inches. Okay, from my original length. Okay, from my original length right here at the tip of my shoulder to the neckline, I must have a slant of 2 inches, okay? So that's what I'm going to be doing. Guys, you really need to be attentive so you can understand the logic behind sweaters. This will be knowledge you can shift and work with if you want to work a very nice and fitting sleeveless sweater. I'm going to put my book away and then start crocheting. First, you make a knot. With my 6mm hook, I am going to chain 50. Okay, so I have 50 chains right here, and into the third chain stitch from the hook, I am going to work a half double crochet. You see that? So that means if I finish all my stitches, I'm going to have a total of 48 stitches, okay? So I'm going to work 1 half double crochet into every stitch until I have 10 stitches left, okay? So work this until you have 10 stitches left. Then I'm going to get back once you have 10 stitches and show you what to do. So I have 10 stitches left, and I'm going to be working one single crochet into every stitch until the end of the row. So just work one single crochet into those 10 stitches, so you have 10 single crochets to end your row. So the reason as to why I am trying to work single crochets right here, like I told you guys, so yes, the 10 single crochets right here is the fitting that I want for my sweater, or the band at the bottom of my sweater, and it's exactly what we are going to do at the collar and at the arms, at the end of the arms. Okay, so it's just going to help us have that sort of like fitting that I'm looking for my sweater. Okay, so I'm going to be working with the rib stitch, and here I'm going to chain one and turn my work into the back loop. Okay, I will work a single crochet, and I'm going to continue working one single crochet into every back loop for the next 9 stitches, so that I have a total of 10 single crochets. If you cannot keep track of your work or the stitches that you must have, please use a stitch marker so that you can mark exactly where you are. So it will be very easy for you not to lose track of your work. Now once you have your 10 single crochets, you are going to start working 1/2 double crochet into the back loop of every stitch until you come to the end of the row. So literally the 1/2 double crochets are for the body of the sweater, and the single crochet is for the band at the bottom of the sweater, so we can have it like fitting. So this is me at the end of my second row, and this is how my work looks like. So literally these 2 rows, they are just going to be the rows just below my armpit right there. Now I am going to start working the increase to go up. Okay, I need this increase going up so that I can have this sharp increase right here. Now this is what I will do. Into I'm going to chain 2 and turn my work into the very first stitch from the very first back loop of the first stitch from the hook. I am going to work 3 1/2 double crochets into that back loop, first stitch right there. I have that. So I'm going to work 1/2 double crochet into the next back loops, into each of them until I have 10 stitches left. So once you have 10 stitches left, you are going to work 1 single crochet into every back loop of every stitch, and make sure you have 10 stitches. So once at the end of your row, you are going to chain 1 and turn your work. We are going to do exactly what we did. So turn your work, work 1 single crochet into every back loop or for the next 10 stitches, and from here you are going to work 1/2 double crochet into the back loop of every stitch until you have 1 stitch left. That's where I'm going to meet you and show you what to do to end your row. So once you have 1 stitch left, which is this, I'm going to work 3 1/2 double crochets into the very last stitch, the back loop of the very last stitch right there. See what I have? Okay, so okay, given my first piece, I realized that I am on the wrong side. Yes, wrong side. But then this is what we shall do, since I cannot reverse my work. Right here, I'm going to cut my yarn and secure the end. And I'm going to make a knot right there, and I'll chain 28. Yes, so I have 28. Okay, so you will turn your piece of work right, like that. And then you are going to insert, sorry, you hold your hook like this, yarn over, insert your hook into this very first stitch, the back loop. Remember, we have to be working into the back loops only. So into the back loop like that, you will work a half double crochet to attach the chains to this, okay? And then yarn over again into that very same stitch. You will work 1 half double crochet, and lastly the third half double crochet right there. So my intention was to have these chains on this row, okay? Had we worked these the foundation chains and then started with the single crochets, then later the half double crochets, we would be on the right side, so it would be just easy for you. You will just have to work your row, get up here, and then work the chains, okay? That means at the end of your row, this row, you would have 3 half double crochets into the last stitch, and then you just chain 28, and then for the next row you just chain to turn your work into the chain stitches before you now come back to this work. So I hope you guys have understood. Now from here, I'm going to continue with 1 half double crochet into the back loop of every stitch until I have 10 stitches left. And once I have 10 stitches left, I know you guys already know what to do. We shall be working for the band, so you will just work single crochets in there. So once at the end of the row, you are going to chain 1 and turn your work 1 single crochet into every back loop of the single crochet stitches, the 10 single crochet stitches, okay? Right there, once you have your 10 single crochets, you will start working into the back loops. So you are going to work this until you come to the end of the row. I'm going to meet you once you get to the chain stitches we just worked, so I can show you how to maneuver, and I'll let you guys work the next row on your own. So once you found your way all the way up, and you get to these chain stitches, you are just going to work 1 half double crochet into each of them. So to be very simple, it's actually very simple. So just work 1 half double crochet into every stitch all the way up. Okay, so this is what we have. I don't know, I just don't know whether you guys, it's super clear for you guys, because as we go further and further, the work is like going to be very huge for my table. So I'll be just showing you pieces and pieces. See that? So basically this is more like the sharp increment that I wanted. So basically it's more like us going up, right up to here, and then working chains to just go all the way up straight, okay? So literally this is it, going up just like the increments we made here, and then going just all the way up, sharp all the way up to the top of our shoulder, okay? So for the next 1 row, you are just going to chain to turn your work half double crochets into the back loop of every stitch, going all the way down until you have 10 stitches left here, and then you will work single crochets into the back loops of the last 10 stitches. That's why I'm going to meet you and show you what to do for the next row. So guys, here I am. This is how my work looks like. Okay, so I am going to chain 1, turn my work, and work into the back loop. I'm working single crochets here, as you can see. And once I'm done with the single crochets, I'm going to work into the back loops of the half double crochets, and I'll be working half double crochets all the way up until I have 1 stitch left. So I'll show you what to do into that very last stitch. So into this very last stitch, okay, at the peak of our sweater, I am going to work 2 half double crochets into the very same stitch. Okay, so this is how my work looks like. Now here we are going to chain 2, work 1 half double crochet into every loop, back loop, until I have 10 stitches left, and then work single crochets into those 10 stitches. So literally I have worked an increase, not sharp, not steep, just a little increase right here, okay, and I'm making it get followed by a normal row. This is it, and this is why. So want an increment of about 2 inches from the original length that I have for my my first 2 rows here. Okay, so I want an increment, so literally I want me to go up like this for an increment of 2 inches. If I measure here and the tip of my increment, I want 2 inches. So literally that means this increment is going to be gradual, not like steep. Okay, that's why I am trying to work 2 half double crochets into the very last stitch, and then working a normal row after that increment. And this is what I'm going to do until I have the width that I want here. Okay, work this row because there is nothing different about it. Just work half double crochets into the back loops where there are half double crochets, and single crochets into the back loops where there are single crochets. So just to have you guys keep track of what you are doing, I have ended my row and I'm starting my row. Just like I told you, I'm going to work single crochets where there are single crochets and half double crochets where there are half double crochets until I have 1 stitch left. That's why I'm going to meet you guys and then show you what to do next. Okay, once at the end of your row right here, you are going to work 2 half double crochets into the very last back loop of the very last stitch. Okay, so here you're going to chain your work and just work a normal row. That means you will work half double crochets into the back loops of stitches which are half double crochets, and then single crochets into the last 10 stitches. Okay, so basically guys, we are going to be doing this like 1 row of an increase, just 2 half double crochets into the very last stitch, and the next row will be a normal row, and we are going to do this for for a total of 16 rows. Okay, so literally we have this is where we started our increase here. So we have 1, 2, then 3. So we have 3 rows for the increase. That means you are left with 13 rows. Okay, so just do this, work 1 row of an increase, then a normal row, 1 row of an increase, then a normal row. So if I say 16 rows, that means from here up to the end of your work where you will be, you will have 18 rows in total. I hope you guys have understood what I'm trying to say. So I have finished my as you can see, I have finished my rows. This is how my work looks like. Let me just turn it. Yes, so this is how my work looks like. You can see that we have this sort of like slant, okay? And this is how it looks like at the bottom. So literally from here up to here, I have 18 rows, and that's what you should have, okay? Going back to the drawing board right here. So I have finished to have this, and you can see there is a difference here and here, okay? So now that we have this slant, okay, we are now going to have this curve for the neckline, okay? And remember that the curve at the front should not be the same curve at the back. The curve at the back should be a little shallow, and then this can be a little deep, okay? Just a little, not so deep, because we are not working a V neck. We're just trying to have more like a boat, yeah, a boat like neckline. So this is what we are going to start right now. Now just get to the end of your row where you just ended your work, and you are going to chain 1, turn your work. Okay, did I chain 1? Oh yes, I did. I think I did. So you will work into the back loop. You'll work your single crochets just like you have to. They should be 10, you know that. Now you are going to work into the back loop for the half double crochet stitches until you have 9 stitches left to end the row. Okay, so work this until you have 9 stitches left to end the row. That's why I'm going to meet you guys and then show you what to do next. Yes, so guys, as you can see, I have 9 stitches left. So now I am going to yarn over and I'm going to work 2 half double crochets together into the next 2 back loops. Okay, just like that. Okay, so I'm going to leave this unworked, and now I will chain 2, okay, and turn my work. Now here I am going to work 2 half double crochets together into the first 2 back loops, just like that, and then I'll continue with 1 half double crochet into each back loop until I get to the single crochets, and also work single crochets into the back loops, okay, of the last 10 stitches. So I am not going to repeat this, but you guys are going to work this for the next 2 rows so that we have okay, so you guys are going to do this for the next 2 rows so that we have a total of 4 rows with this kind of start. Okay, so do this until you come to the end of the row, and then come all the way up into the last 2 stitches. You're going to work 2 half double crochets together into the back loops. Okay, and then chain to turn your work 2 double crochets together into the back loops of the first 2 stitches, then repeat the work the way it has to flow all the way until the end. So I'm going to come back once you guys have your 2 rows complete, your next 2 rows complete, literally just to make sure we have a total of 4 rows of 2 half double crochets together when starting the row and ending the next row. Okay, so I have finished my rows just like you see. I have 4 rows, 1 2 3 4. Okay, and this is how my work looks like. So let's get back to the drawing board. Now here I'm assuming this is where I am, right here. No, just right here. Okay, so I want this right here before I can now start to shoot up. Okay, so this right here is what we are going to do, because I feel like that curve is just enough for us. So from here going forward, we are going to work 4 normal rows. I'm not going to work those rows with you. You already know what to do. What you are going to do right here is chain 1, turn your work single crochets where they need to be single crochets, and then half double crochets where they have to be half double crochets for the next 4 rows. Okay, so that our bot neck can have this right here before we can now start to shoot up. Okay, now this is the piece for the front, and I'll show you how it looks like. Okay, this is it. I have 4 rows right here and then 4 rows right here, normal rows, before I started to go back all the way up. Okay, to go back all the way up here. So that's what you guys are going to do. I'm just going to get back and show you guys how to work this going up, then we can go forward from there. So I just wanted to put this forward. If you're working the behind piece, okay, you will follow everything that I have worked, and when you get to this point where we are working the neckline, you will not work 4 rows of half double crochet of 2 half double crochets together for the decrease. Instead, you will work this row until you have 5 stitches left to end the row. So into the next 2 stitches you work 2 half double crochets together, just like this, and then you will work normal rows from here, because my intention is not to have my intention is to have a shallow sort of like line for the back, okay, for the neckline at the back. And I want the neckline for the front to be this deep, okay, a little deep more than the one at the back. So I think you guys can now see the difference. So what you will do is you will just have this one row of the decrease, and then you will work 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11. You will work 11 you will work 10 rows, 10 normal rows from here before you work an increase of 2 double crochets. I hope you guys have understood this, because I'm not going to work the behind piece with you. I'm just trying to show you the variations that you have to have in mind when working the behind piece, okay? So that's it. So let's resume with this. So guys, I have finished my front piece, but then I'm just going to show you, I'm going to show you where we stopped. I had told you guys to work 4 normal rows. Yeah, this is where we are, okay? So I am going to continue this from my back piece and just explain what I have done on the front piece and what changes I have made for the back piece, okay? Because at the end of the day, everything looks similar. The only difference comes right here at the neckline, okay? So once you have your 4 normal rows complete, for my back piece, I have 10 normal rows, because instead of having 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 stitches unworked, on the back piece I have 1 2 3 stitches unworked, okay? And on the front piece I had a decrease of 2 double crochets together 4 times, 1 2 3 4, okay? On my back piece I only had 1, okay, because I want to keep this a little higher at the back, and then the dip should be at the front. So to have the same number of rows in between here, okay, I literally worked 10 normal rows after that, okay? On the front piece you work a decrease for 4 rows and then 4 normal rows, okay? On the back piece you work a decrease for 1 row and then follow it by 10 normal rows. So to go back up here for my front piece, on the front piece, this is what you will do. I'm experimenting that on the back piece, but it will be very easy for you guys to understand. So here you will chain 2. Once you have your 4 normal rows, you will chain 2, okay? And you will work 2 half double crochets into the very first stitch, into the back loop of the very first stitch, okay? And then work your half double crochets the way they have to, followed by single crochets the way they have to at the end of the row. Then you will chain 1 turn your work your single crochets, and then work your double crochets. When you get to the very last stitch in here, you will still work 2 half double crochets. So that means we are going up, okay? So you will go up for the same number of rows you went down, okay? Here we went down for 4 rows, so you are going to go up working 2 half double crochets into the last stitch at the top of your work, okay, for 4 rows. So literally I'm not repeating that, okay? I'm just going to get back once you have your 4 rows complete, and when working the back piece you will just have to go up for 1 row, because you went down for 1 row, okay? So you'll go up for 1 row. So once whoever is working the front and whoever is working the back is complete, okay, I'm going to get back and show you what to do next. So once you have come to the end of your row and you have finished to work the rows I have told you, yes, for your front and back, you are going to chain 1 and then work your stitches the way they have to. I've ended up being down, So I'm going to work my single crochets and half double crochets all the way up until the last stitch. That's where I'm going to meet you guys and then show you what to do. Okay, so once you get to the top of your work, just like I am, you are going to work chains for the same number of rows for the stitches you left unworked here. So if you're working for the back piece, you are going to chain 3, actually chain 5, because you have to turn your work and work into the 3rd chain stitch from the hook. So if you're working for the front piece, you are going to have to chain 9. So that means if we work into the 3rd chain stitch from the hook, we have 7 stitches exactly, which we left here unworked. Okay, so we are going to do exactly that. I will work my chains. Okay, once I am done, I'm going to turn my work, and into the 3rd chain stitch from the hook, I will work a half double crochet and continue with 1 half double crochet into every stitch, every back loop of every stitch, until I get to the single crochets, and I will work single crochets right there. So guys, I am not going to work the next row with you. I'm just going to come and show you what to do at the end right here. I no longer want to show you down here because you already know how it looks like and how it has to be. Okay, so I'm not going to be repeating that. So work this row until you come to the end of it. Chain 1, turn your work, work your single crochets and then double crochets until you have 2 stitches left to end the next row. That's where I'm going to meet you and show you what to do. Okay, now first of all, for the next rows that we are going to be working, this is the result that we want. We want to now slant, because when we were starting our work, we went all the way up. Okay, so now this time we want to slant and find that we have the same number of stitches that we have on this side and this side. Okay, so that's exactly what we are going to do. Work your row, and I'll meet you on the next row once you have 2 stitches left to end your row. That's where I'll meet you and show you what to do. So guys, once you come to the end of your row and you have 2 stitches left, you are going to work 2 half double crochets into the last 2 stitches, and you'll work 2 half double crochets together, chain 2. For the next row, it's going to be a normal row, no increase whatsoever. But for the next, you will work the row until you get all the way up. Once you have 2 stitches left, you'll do the very same thing I have done here. So you are going to do that for the very same number of rows we worked when we were going all the way up. So so far I have this only one, and then you will work the next, do the very same thing I've done here for the next row after that. So literally we are having 1 row of a decrease and then followed by 1 normal row, 1 row of a decrease and 1 normal row, because when we were going up, we worked 1 row of an increase and 1 normal row. So that's what we are going to do for the very same number of rows as we worked right here. And I remember there were 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. Yeah, there were 8. I remember there weren't 8, but there were 16. That's what I mean. So that means there were 8 rows of an increase and 8 normal rows in between. Okay, so that's what we are going to do. We just have 1 pair so far, so we have 7 pairs to go. Okay, so I'm going to meet you once those 7 pairs are done, because these 2 last rows were normal rows. They didn't have any increase whatsoever. Okay, so if you can also just work these after that, that will be super great. So I can just meet you for this bend right here. So guys, I'm going to meet you after you have your slant, okay, all the way down, and I'll show you what to do right here, and then we shall start to join our work. So this is what we are going to do on the other end. This, okay, because we have finished this. So we are going to count the stitches right here that we left up here and then start working the decrease. Mine are 23, I think, just to be sure. Oh yeah, they are 26. So what I am going to do is I am going to turn my work, and I'm going to count 26 stitches from the top and then mark the 27th. So this is where I'm going to start my decrease. Okay, so here we go. I'll insert my hook, pull through yarn, chain 2, and work 3 half double crochets together into the first 3 stitches, just like that, and then I will work 1 half double crochet into every stitch. So I'm done with this row. Just like you see, I started with 3 half double crochets into the 27th, 28th and 29th stitch from up, counting from up, and then I work my stitches the way I have to work them all the way going down. So when you get down here, you are just going to do the very same thing. Chain 1, turn your work. Yes, chain 1, turn your work, work your single crochets where you have to work single crochets, and half double crochets where you have to work half double crochets, and you will do that until you have, you're going to do this until you have 3 stitches left over here. Okay, so you will work 3 half double crochets together into the last 3 stitches. This 1, 2, 3 stitches. You'll work 3 half double crochets together, then you'll chain to turn your work, work 3 half double crochets together into the first 3 stitches as well. Okay, so that will mean that we have 3 rows of the decrease, which we had right here. Okay, it's what we had here, and after that you will work these 2 normal rows to end your work. So I'm not going to work this with you, but I want you guys to work this and come to the end of it. So I'm just going to get back and show you how to join our work and then how to work our sleeve. Okay, so I've finished my piece and I'm going to join these 2 pieces. Okay, I'm not yet going to join the top, but I'm going to join the sides, so I will make sure my work is in out so that I start stitching these 2 pieces together. So for this you can use a darning needle or you can just use your hook if you know how to do that. And I will insert my hook into the very first stitch on this side and pull through yarn, work a chain, then make sure I'm inserting my hook into both ends, just like that, and work a single crochet. So continue doing this until you get to the end of the sides, because the end is like just below your armpits. Yeah, the top of this, so that's where we are going to end. And that's where I'm going to meet you guys, then show you what to do next. So as you can see, I have finished to attach this. So now I am going to go to the top right here. First I'm going to work 1 row of single crochet on here and on here, and then I'll attach the 2. Okay, so let's do that. Pull through yarn, insert your hook into the very last stitch in the corner, chain 1, work your single crochet and work another in there. So literally just place a single crochet where you feel it's deserving. Okay, I'm not going to tell you work this number of single crochets or something, no, just place them where you feel it's deserving. So we are going to attach now these two pieces once you have worked your single crochets onto them, and you will insert your hook into the very first stitch on this side and then pull the loop through it, work a chain, and then start working your single crochets. Yeah, once again, you can use a darning needle if you can, and also this is how you can use your hook if you feel like a darning needle is very delaying. So do this until you get right here. Okay, and once there, I'm going to show you what to do next. So with the top and the side stitched together, this is what I have. Okay, yeah, this is what I have. So now I'm going to show you how to work your sleeves. It's not any different because we are going to make, I'm trying to make sure I work them vertically, and here is what I am going to do. I will insert my hook into what I call the center, just midway your armpits. See that? I'll insert my hook, pull through yarn, and first here I am going to work a single crochet just like that, and work a single crochet into the next what I call the next stitch, but where you feel it's deserving to place one. Okay, so I'm going to do this until I get to the stitches right here. So when I get to the stitches right here, I'm not going to work single crochets. Instead, I'm going to work half double crochets into the back loop, because I want my work to look like a continuous piece, like it doesn't show any joining. Okay, so I'm going to let you guys work your stitches all the way around like this, coming down. Since we had foundation chains on this side, we are just going to be working one half double crochet into every stitch on the opposite side of this foundation chains. Okay, and when you get here, you work single crochets where you feel it's deserving, then work a slip stitch. So I'm going to meet you guys on the second row, then I'll show you how to work the sleeve and what's different about it. So finished to work my row, and I just want you guys to know that because we want to work a slanting sleeve, we are going to be working one row of a decrease followed by 2 normal rows all through until we have the length of the sleeve that we want. Okay, now first of all, you are going to chain 2 and turn your work. Remember to turn your work for every row. And yes, we have to be working into the back loop. It's just going to be a little tricky for me here to get this loop out. Yeah, so there we have it. So into the next back loop, we work a half double crochet, and remember these are back loops that they were of single crochets, so we are working double crochets into them. So you are going to work your half double crochets into every back loop all the way around until you come to the end of your row. Then you will count the stitches you have for your sleeve. Okay, once you count them, you are going to divide that figure by 2. For example, 80 divided by 2, you will get 40. So from the very last stitch where you worked your slip stitch, you will count 40 stitches and mark the 40th stitch. I hope I'm clear. Okay, work this until the end, count your stitches, divide the total number of stitches you have all the way around for your sleeve by 2, and the result, you count the stitches right from the start to the end and mark that stitch. Actually, yeah, you should mark like the 41st or the 42nd stitch, because the fact that I want us to begin with a decrease, that means you will have subtracted like 2 stitches from the 40. So mark the 41st stitch, and that's where I'm going to meet you guys and then show you what to do next. So guys, I've finished my row, and as you can see, I have marked my stitch. Okay, so you are going to chain 2 and turn your work, and into the very first the back loop of the first 2 stitches, you will work 2 half double crochets together. Work 1 half double crochet into the next stitches until you get to the marked stitch. So once you get to the marked stitch, take out your stitch marker and then work 2 half double crochets together into the next 2 stitches. Continue with 1 half double crochet into every stitch until you come to the end of your row and work a slip stitch. Okay, so the next 2 rows are just going to be normal rows, no increase, no decrease whatsoever. Okay, and then after, you'll count your stitches once again, mark divide by 2, mark that stitch up here, work a decrease when starting the row, and work a decrease into the marked stitch. So literally, I just want you guys to have 1 row of a decrease followed by 2 normal rows. You are going to do this until you have the length of the sleeve you desire, and once you do, that's where I'm going to find you guys and show you what to do next. So guys, I happen to have my sleeve complete. Okay, and I worked, let me see, 16 times 2 is 32. Yeah, I have about 32 rows, literally, like, let's say 33 rows. Yes, I have 33 rows for my sleeve, and I'm going to now work a decrease so that I can have this get together like this, so I can work the wristband. Okay, and now what I'll do here is I'm going to chain 2, basically just work 1 chain 1, because I want to work with the single crochet. So chain 1 and just work 1 single crochet in here, and then into the next stitch you work 2 single crochets together, work a single crochet into the next, and 2 single crochets together into the next 2 stitches, 1 single crochet in the next, 2 single crochets together into the next 2 stitches. So this you are going to do all the way around until you come to the end of your row. That's where I'm going to meet you guys, then show you what to do next. End of my row and worked a slip stitch, and you are going to do the very same thing for the next row. Chain 1, work a single crochet into the first stitch, work 2 single crochets together into the next 2 stitches, chain 1, 1 single crochet in the next, 2 single crochets together into the next 2 stitches, 1 single crochet in the next, and do this until you come to the end of your row. That's where I'm going to meet you guys and show you what to do next. So this is the width of my wrist, and if this is like literally just enough for you, you can stop here. Okay, because I wouldn't like you guys to like work so many decreases and you find that your wrist can't actually go through, or your fingers can't go through it. So now from here I am going to work the band. So I will chain I'll chain 12 literally I'll chain 13, and I'm going to work a single crochet into every chain stitch. Yeah, there we go. Once you have that, you are going to skip this and then work a slip stitch into the next stitch. Okay, then once again a slip stitch into the next stitch, turn your work, okay, work into the back loop of this, okay, and there you will work one single crochet into every back loop. If this is very hard for you guys to like maneuver, you can just work this band alone and then stitch it onto the arms, okay, onto the end of the arms. I sometimes just don't feel like it's going to give me a neat project, so that's why I try to attach it like this. Yeah, so once here you chain one, turn your work, work one single crochet into every stitch all the way around, sorry, all the way down. Make sure the stitches are 12, okay? So once here you work a slip stitch into the next stitch on the body of the sleeve, and then work a slip stitch once again, then turn your work, go all the way up, and that's how you are going to do this until you have come all the way around up to here. Then you can stitch the two ends together to join the band, okay? So I'll meet you once you have that complete. But one thing I'm not going to work with you is the collar of my sweater, because what I have done here is exactly what you are going to do for the collar. Let me just show you guys. So here you are going to work single crochets all the way around the edges, all right? And once you come to the end, you'll work a slip stitch, then work 5 chains. And once you have your 5 chains, work 6 chains. So into the second chain stitch from the hook, you work your single crochets just like I did here. That's the band that you are going to work all the way around your collar, okay? I'm not going to work this with you because I feel like now you know exactly what to do. So with this, I will think and assume that you guys have really learned to work your sweater and have learned the logic behind what you need to consider when making a sweater. More so, that knowledge will really work for you if you are looking forward to working a sleeveless sweater.